this is Ekta Radadia from the Department of Pharmacology, LJ Institute of Pharmacy, Ahmedabad. Welcome back to our YouTube channel Pharma Ignite. Over the course of this pandemic, the LJ Institute of Pharmacy has thrived at its best to provide you e-learning sessions as not to hamper your studies and to brisk your education of your B.Pharm course curriculum. So I hope all of you are well connected to Pharma Ignite for the updates. So I would be your pharmacology instructor for B.Pharm semester 5, and in this video I would be discussing about the basic concepts of endocrine system. So let's have a look. Let us just discuss some basic fundamentals of endocrine system. So all multicellular organisms, they need coordinating systems to regulate and integrate the functions of differentiating cells. Both the nervous system and endocrine system, they works in close proximity for their different functions in higher animals. The endocrine system helps to maintain the internal homeostatic environment in our body via the use of endogenous chemicals known as hormones. So, a hormone is typically a chemical messenger or signaling molecules which are released into the circulatory system or bloodstream to exert an effect on target cells which are located far to endocrine cell or to the distant sites from the release or secretion site of hormone. Now there are various endocrine glands which are responsible for manufacturing and release of specific hormones which helps in regulations of different bodily functions including the physiological processes such as reproductive activity, growth and development, energy metabolism including fluid and electrolyte balancing, and they do respond to some stimuli, that is stress or injury. Now the use of drugs which helps to regulate and control the function of endocrine is an important area of pharmacology. In a one sense, hormones, it can be considered as drugs which are manufactured by the patient's body itself. This situation presents an obvious opportunity to develop or for the use of exogenous chemicals either to mimic or accentuate the effect of specific hormones during the endocrine dysfunction or endocrine disorders. So patients can take drugs for the replacement therapy during the deficiency of particular hormone, for example administration of insulin in diabetes. Likewise, exogenous hormone analogs, it can use for the ascension of the effects for their endogenous counterparts, for example using of glucocorticoids to treat an inflammation. So likewise there are various other therapy where the hormones or the drugs which are used for the endocrine hyperactivity, for example the use of antithyroid drugs in hyperthyroidism. So the overall combinatory effect is the endocrine system is helped to maintain or regulate the normal endocrine function to achieve a desired effect. And this overview is to brief you and provide you with a general or basic review of endocrine and hormonal activity. So let's have a look in detail. So let us see how the nervous system and endocrine system works in close proximity. So first let us talk about the nervous system. So nervous system, it acts very fastly and they do generate electrical impulses in a very high speed. So when any stimulus arrives at nerve cell, it sends the messages in the form of electrical impulses to the next cell via the chemical messengers which are known as neurotransmitter. So as soon as these neurotransmitter arrives at the site of binding, they will bind to the particular receptor present on target cell and then it will initiate the further elongation steps which are required for the generation of particular response. So nervous system, it usually provides short term and very quick responses. Now let us talk about the endocrine system. Now whenever any stimulus arrives to an endocrine cell, it secretes the chemical messenger which is known as hormones and it will travel through the bloodstream to target any cell which are located far away to the endocrine cell. Now these hormones, they will travel through the blood to reach any target cell, and it will bind to the receptor on the particular cell, and it will initiate the response or the particular function. So these responses are classified as long term and delayed response, as it has to travel through the circulatory system, and hence it is known as endocrine system. Now, it is not necessary every time that hormones need to travel through blood streams to act on any target cell. It may transmit its signals from one cell to another cell to produce any tissue or cell responses. And these type of effects are known as paracrine effects, para meaning cross. So these are known as paracrine secretion. So this was all about how the nervous system and endocrine system works in close proximity. The fundamental and basic concepts of hormones involves three major physiological processes in our body. First is the maintenance of internal homeostatic environment. The second, it involves the intermediary energy metabolism processes, and the next is reproduction activity. The hormones, they are secreted into the bloodstream, and they need to get transported to the far reaching sites via chemical messenger. Now the hormones, they are classified under major three categories. First is amino acid derivatives, which includes tyrosine residues, for example catecholamine, dopamine, adrenaline, and many more other hormones. The second major category involves peptide hormones, and they are synthesized from the precursor molecules including polypeptides and glycoproteins. They include growth hormone, insulin, and ADH. The third category is steroidal hormones, and they are synthesized from the larger molecules of cholesterol derivatives, and it includes estrogen, progesterone, and many other hormones. Now, many peptide and protein hormones, they are produced from particular molecules such as precursor polypeptides. Now, if we look at structurally, the characteristic signal or leader sequence targets these peptide and proteins for extracellular signal via vesicles. Now, or secretory granules. Now, some precursors such as pre-hormones, they are encoded for the biologically active peptides that are subsequently secreted or generated by specific processing enzymes. So there are many other precursors such as pre-pro-insulin and pre-pro-vasopressin. They encode the signals hormone that are to be excised from the larger proteins as for the secretion of these proteins, and they are tightly controlled by the intracellular signals, which regulates the vesicle transportation in the extracellular villi in fusion with plasma membrane via exocytosis process. For example, steroid hormones such as progesterone or estrogen, they are synthesized from the cholesterol molecules, and they are the derivatives of the series of enzymatic steps. So these enzymes specifically, they are expressed in the regulation in response to trophic hormones such as ACTHs, which is adenocorticotropic hormone. Now we can take another example of thyroid. So the thyroid hormone, it is produced by the modification of different steps in their secretion or biosynthesis in the tyrosine residues in thioglobulin via iodination process. Now let us talk about the transportation and inactivation of hormone. So usually the hormone, they do produce their action in free form, but these free form are available in very small fraction in the total part of hormonal content. So they need to maintain the total equilibrium between the transportation via blood in the form of bound. Now only free hormones are active or to achieve the target effect. Now the concentration of this active hormone in blood is usually determined by a dynamic relationship which is between the rate and the secretion of hormone, and the rate of these inactivation, it really depends on the bound form of hormone, which is bound plasma protein form. Now these hormones, they do have half-life in a term of long delayed response. They have half-life of some minutes to hours and sometimes up to days in their release. Now let us talk about the mechanism of hormone action. So hormones, they bring their effect on a target cell by altering the activity of cell, that is either by increasing or decreasing the rate of normal cellular processes. For example, epinephrine binding to smooth muscle in a cell, in blood vessels, it stimulates the contraction. Whereas epinephrine binding to other cells other than muscle cells, they may have got some different effect, but it doesn't mean that it will not cause the non-contractile cells to shorten. Now, a hormone stimuli, it typically produces one or more the following changes, and they are basic some 5 steps for the mechanism of action. So first step is changing in the permeability of plasma membrane via the maintenance of membrane potential, either by opening or closing the particular ion channels. The second step is synthesis or production of proteins via certain regulatory molecules within the cell, for example enzymes. The third step is activation or deactivation of particular enzyme. The fourth step is initiation or induction of several enzymatic activity, and the last step is stimulation of mitotic process. So these are the basic steps which are involved in the mechanism of hormones. Now let's talk about the feedback regulation of hormones. They do have some elucidative mechanism which do have significant effect or impact on endocrinology. The principal action which hormones regarded as is, they do have some particular set point which is controlled by down regulating stimulatory pathways when the set point is exceeded, and the up regulating stimulatory pathways when hormone levels fall below this set point. Now probably every hormone is regulated in the similar manner, although the regulatory pathways may not serve similar. Now these hormone or these regulatory loops, they are well coordinated via major hypothalamic pituitary hormone axis, which includes two components, stimulatory and inhibitory. Now the stimulatory component, for example if we talk about thyroid hormone, it includes TRH and TSH. So TRH, it stimulates TSH. TRH meaning thyroid releasing hormone, which stimulates thyroid stimulating hormone secretion from the pituitary gland to increase the synthesis of T4 and T3 in the production of thyroid gland. Now if we talk about the inhibitory component, the T4 and T3, it production in the thyroid gland, it sends a signal to the thyroid gland to suppress the release of these hormones as they have maintained the set point. So the feedback regulation also occurs in endocrine systems which do not work in close proximity with pituitary gland. For example, the glucose, which inhibits glucagon secretion, or the leptin, which acts on the hypothalamus to suppress the appetite. Now let us discuss about the pituitary gland, which is the master gland of endocrine system. So it almost weighs 0.5 gram in adult, and it is the 1/3 in an inch of diameter, which is equal to a small peas. Now it contains two different kind of lobes, anterior lobe and posterior lobe, and they are regulated for the particular different kind of hormones. They have got particular function. Now neurophysis, meaning it is the posterior lobe of pituitary gland through which the oxytocin and vasopressin are released. Adenophysis, meaning they are the endocrine, they have particular endocrine cells and they are regulated for particular endocrine functions. Now there are almost 50 of hormones which are the body's chemical messengers and are made by 12 different endocrine glands. These glands, they do not have ducts, but they do secrete hormones directly into the blood. Hormones affect certain target tissues or organs and regulate their activities. Now let's have a look on the particular types of hormones which are secreted from pituitary gland. So first let's talk about the hormones secreted from anterior lobe. Basically there are 6 hormones which are secreted from anterior lobe. First is a growth hormone, then prolactin, trophic hormones including TSH, and next is ACTHS, which is adenocorticotrophin hormone. Then next is FSH, which is follicle stimulating hormone, and the last is LH, which is luteinizing hormone. The posterior lobe secretes 2 hormones, which is antidiuretic hormones and oxytocin. So this was all about the basic concepts of endocrine system, and in next part I would be discussing about the particular hormones, their synthesis, mechanism of action, and their clinical use. Till then, you make sure that you subscribe our YouTube channel Pharma Ignite for more updates. So press the red button for subscription and more notifications. Thank you for watching this video.